Hey, Fruit Faces, it's Clary Berry. I just had to do a quick little rant here, but first I'm going to show you my Christmas leggings. Oh yeah, what do you think? I don't pull these up nearly enough because they were poorly made, and I don't want them to have to reinforce the sewing or something. Anyway, just have a quick rant about people not taking care of their health. Even their kids. I mean, if you're having a baby, you need to focus your time not into like looking good as a pregnant mom and making sure you're all prim and proper. Do the research on the stuff. Don't just say, "Oh, everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is getting immunized, so should I," or whatever the issue is. Same thing with this whole gluten-free lifestyle. And I'm not going to name names, but somebody in my circle has been worrying me for basically months and years, and the more I learn about this gluten-free issue, the more I am concerned. People just go gluten-free, self-diagnose, assume, and then there's the other issues. Oh, maybe I could lose weight on it, yada yada yada, and they don't get tested for anything. They're not testing for celiac, they're not testing for gluten intolerance. They're just self-diagnosing, and then here's the kicker: even though it's not helping, they still continue to say, "Oh yeah, I've got to be gluten free. I'm gluten free and I don't need to be tested." I'm like, wake up, people. You need to research these issues. This is your health you're talking about. If you think that you are intolerant or worse to gluten, then I'm like shaking you people, okay? You need to get tested for celiac. If you keep on eating, let's say, okay, if you're 1 out of 7 people who are celiac don't know it, basically, at this point, or somewhere around there. And if you continue to keep eating gluten, which you will, because celiac people, they don't just avoid gluten sometimes. It's like and there are different levels, but you need to avoid, if you're celiac, you need to avoid cross-contamination. You can't kiss people who've been eating gluten. You can't cook and share cutting boards or even toasters with people. Your food can't touch. Oats are a problem, not because they have gluten, but because they're always usually processed in plants that have, and lentils too, cross-contamination going on. Restaurants are going to be a huge problem. And even things, little things like that people don't think of, like sausages can have gluten in them, in the casing and in the filling. And people who are just doing this for a fad are just like, oh, cookies, cakes, yada, 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 let's do it for a diet. And it's really getting on my nerves because I'm honestly worried, because if you keep eating, either accidentally or just because you're slipping, you keep eating gluten as a celiac, you can get autoimmune diseases, host of other things. You cause a lot of damage and you can die, people. This is a serious deal. And like I said, only 1 out of 7 people who is celiac knows it at this point. So if you are gluten, if you think you're having problems with gluten, please do yourself and everyone around you a favor and go get tested. There's a very common standard celiac test. Now, if you think you're gluten intolerant and you're not celiac, and you go ahead and get tested for celiac and you're not celiac, then you should be tested for gluten intolerance. And some people, my dad and my sister, were trying to tell me there's no such thing, there's no reliable test, yada, yada, yada. Yes, there is. Genetic testing. Go get it done and see if you're gluten intolerant. You may be cutting out a lot of very nutritious foods out of your diet for no reason. You may have a completely different allergy. You may have a problem with FODMAPs, which they're just starting to come out and have more information about the FODMAPs. It's basically short chain carbohydrates. And it's less restrictive diet, so you can actually stay more healthy eating anti-FODMAP diet than possibly a gluten-free diet. The problems with gluten-free, there's so many additives that they have to put in all these different breads and cakes and cookies and crackers and things like that. That is absolutely not healthy for you. First of all, they're adding sugar. They're adding artificial sweeteners, which are cancer forming, obviously usually not safe at all. BHT and BHA are chemicals that they use, as well as BVO, brominated vegetable oil, which is the flame retardant stuff they were putting in Gatorade and stuff, or Powerade, whatever it was, a few years back. Different artificial colors they'll put in there. Carrageenan, however you say that word. And a really bad one, another one is xanthan gum. The way that they make this, you really don't even want to know. They take some kind of bacteria, I believe, and then they take the slime from the bacteria, and then they process it, refine it, add stuff to it, and then and the bacteria is the same stuff that a black rot that can get on your vegetables. So yeah, and they take that black rot slime and they ferment it and then refine it, and it can be GMO'd. All this stuff can be GMO'd. It's just not a good idea to be eating stuff with that in it, and especially that xanthan gum and other different gums that they have out there are always in the cakes and cookies and stuff because they're the binding agents and making everything rise. So you definitely want to know if you're gluten-free and avoid all these gluten-free products so that you're not, hurting yourself even more. I mean, gluten, honestly, if be more nutritious than any of this other stuff if you have FODMAPs, and if that's not the deal, it's better to eat gluten than all of these other additives. So, and another thing, if you cut out gluten for a long time and then go try to get tested, that's going to mess up your results. It's going to be a lot harder to diagnose a gluten intolerance when you're already, not having gluten in your diet. So, like I said, the main thing is if you have been tested for celiac and you have a problem with gluten, definitely get tested. If you are related to somebody closely who is, celiac or gluten intolerant, then you probably want to get tested as well. This is just like a little educational video and rant I have because, like I said, somebody in my circle has been arguing with me about this, not believing that there's tests and saying that they don't need to get tested when in fact their gluten-free diet is actually not even eliminating their symptoms. And they're claiming, it doesn't just go away. Well, it should go away. If you're actually have the cause, then yes, it should go away. The fact that you're still having symptoms shows that either you need to be better about watching this cross-contamination and little things like sausages and things like that and check ingredients better, or you have a different problem that you need to look into. But like I said, it can cause damage for you. So please spread this message so that your friends and family can also know and they can take care of their health as well. Remember, our health is all we have. If you deny your health, then you have nothing. Because when you're unhealthy, you can't enjoy, your money or your friends or anything. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you later. Don't forget to eat your fruit.